So today we are supposed to discuss from two verses, verse 17th and 18th. So let us try to briefly explain verse 17. इतिष्म राजाध्ववसाय युक्त प्राचीन मूलेषु कुलेषु धीर कुशेषु धीर उदन्मुख दक्षिण कुल आस्ते समुद्रपत्ना शशतनस्त भार. So here it is described how King Parikshit, he sat down at the bank of Ganga, but Goswami sometimes explain that is not only Ganga, that was also Jamuna. So I don't know, either it is only Jamuna or sometime both the river flows together, Jamuna and Ganga. In Bhagavatam it is written Ganga, but in many places I have seen the Goswamis, they explain it was Jamuna. So whatever it may be, both are sacred river, and Parikshit Maharaj, he sat down Dakshina Kule, at the southern bank of Ganga, and everything is described in detail, that he sat on a kushak grass, kushasan, a seat made of kushak grass, and the root, that kushak grass was complete, it was uprooted with roots, and the kushasan, the seat was made with that complete kushak grass, which was uprooted with roots, and the roots were faced toward the east, and he himself, King Parikshit himself, faced toward the north. So it is explained here, Srila Prabhupada explained in the purport, that all these, it is like part of rituals. It is very, very auspicious. In devotional life, we have to try to maintain all the rules and regulations, rituals, as far as possible. Although it is not the main thing, but if we are, if possible, we can maintain all rules and regulations. Generally, sometimes we sit on plastic. This is made of plastic, no? It is not very auspicious. According to Vedic standard, plastic is not, what to speak of auspicious, they are inauspicious. You understand? But kushak grass is very, very auspicious. Kushak grass was born from the water sprinkled from the body of Varaha incarnation. When Varahadev took incarnation, then from his body he sprinkled some water, and water of Garbhodak ocean, and that water fell on earth and produced kushak grass. So kushak grass is considered to be very auspicious, and all the symptoms mentioned here, that the root should be faced toward the east, and the person who is sitting on the kushasan, he should face toward the north. So like this, there are some rules and regulations, just like when we chant Gayatri. In the morning we face towards east, noon also we face towards east, and evening we face towards north. So these are some rules and regulations. Sometimes, we may also break, sometimes rules and regulations are broken by mistake or due to some situation. When you are going by car, you don't know which is east side or west side. You are going by train, you are chanting Gayatri on train. So sometimes rules and regulations are broken. We are compelled, situation compels us to break the rules. So the rules are actually secondary. If you are not lazy, and if the situation is favorable, we should maintain all the rules and regulations as far as possible. There are unlimited rules and regulations. If you read Hari Bhakti Vilas, one time somebody asked Prabhupada, in Hari Bhakti Vilas it is said we should do like this, like this. Prabhupada replied, forget your this Vilas or that Vilas. You understand? Prabhupada was not so much fond of following all the rules and regulations. Actually, if you follow all the rules and regulations, especially for the Goshtanandi. We are Goshtanandi, we are supposed to preach, is it not? But for preaching, sometimes we have to, in different situation, it is not that we can maintain all the rules and regulations. Say for example, Chaturmasya started and next month is Damodar month. If you follow Hari Bhakti Vilas, it will be very difficult to preach, go outside and preach. That's why generally they don't go for 4 months, they stay in some ashram or at home. And 4 months of Chaturmasya, generally preaching work is not done so much. But Goshtanandi, they don't care. They go and preach under any circumstances. So for that, sometimes we may break rules and regulations. When Prabhupada first went to America, I was reading in his biography that he was keeping prasadam in a freeze at the top floor, and at the bottom somebody was keeping meat. Have you read that? Yeah. So much tolerant Prabhupada was for preaching. So for preaching, sometimes rules and regulations can be sacrificed. Even Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was so staunch followers of all rules and regulations. So one time devotees were not going for preaching on Ekadashi day. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur called his disciples, why are you not going out for preaching? So they replied, today is Ekadashi, we are all engaged in chanting. So what is the problem? No, Ekadashi day we take simple prasadam, so we feel weak. So just now we cook khichdi and take khichdi and eat khichdi and go out for preaching. It was not the intention, but the intention is that preaching is more important than your Ekadashi. You understand? I heard another story from some devotee that the then Harikesh Maharaj was asked to go to preach in Russia. So he replied that in Russia vegetarian foods are rare to achieve, not available. So Prabhupada said, what is available? Available only flesh, meat. So Prabhupada said, okay, you can eat meat and preach. It was not intention, but it shows the importance of preaching. Goshtanandi gives more importance on preaching. Somehow or other you have to preach. If you care so much, all rules and regulations, just like we cannot eat food cooked by non-devotees. But for preaching, sometimes may not be non-devotee, but you may not get pure cook. Prabhupada used to say, blind uncle is better than no uncle. A blind uncle is better than no uncle. At least you have an uncle. You have an uncle. So in this way, for preaching, some adjustment has to be made. You will not find everywhere pure cooks. You will not find everywhere pure devotees, pure association. But for preaching, we have to sometimes become little lenient in following at least the rituals and external rules and regulations. Internally, our mood, our bhava, that is very, very important. That is very, very important. In many incidents, we have seen how Krishna gives importance on the bhava, on the mood. Krishna is called bhavagrahi, bhavagrahi. Murkha vadati Vishnaya, dhira vadati Vishnave, ubhayastu shamang punyam, bhavagrahi Janardana. Murkha, an uneducated devotee, he doesn't know Sanskrit very well, so sometimes he chants mantra, wrongly, wrong pronunciation, he says wrong, grammatically wrong, he says Om Vishnaya Namah. Because in many words, this aya is there. So he thinks it will be Vishnaya. Just like we say Gauraya.